Hey, what's up everyone? The CEO has confirmed recently that things will slow down for Arrowhead. Yesterday, Pilistad had also explained some of the changes to the patch. We'll be checking out the new Commando Stratagem leak, as well as take a look at some new tanks and much more. If you find the video enjoyable at any point, feel free to give it a thumbs up. Let's begin by talking about how Arrowhead is going to slow down here very soon, and there's a good reason for it. So if you do not know, the Swedish people take their summer breaks very seriously, and this is what's going to happen next month. Most likely, most of these developers are going to take their breaks. So if we go ahead and check out this post right here, this user says, "The effort shows 100%. I know patches are going to be farther and further in between from now on." Shams Georgiani wrote back and said, "We're going to have a summer break which will have a small impact, but in the future we're going to try to stick to this pace and then later go faster, is the intent at least." Well, next month we should expect the developers to slow down just a bit. Now, will this affect things? I honestly couldn't tell you, but maybe we will not see a war bond next month, and potentially we may not see an update. Maybe the next month afterwards. So after July, we might see another update. Now, the CEO does continue on to answer another question here, and this is about a specific bug. Recently, the newest patch introduced a few new bugs. For example, if you open up your menu, you change your settings, you will experience a crash. There's also an issue with the ballistic shield. When you're prone, most likely you'll break your legs or float underneath the map. There's also another issue right here, which we'll get into, where I guess explosives will send you underneath the map. Apparently it's being fixed. But let's go ahead and take a look at this post right here. This ex-user said, "Is being sent under the map when hit with explosives being worked on?" Shams Georgiani says, "It's a known issue." Well, no confirmation on when we'll see that fixed or resolved, but they are going to resolve the issues with the ballistic shield and the crashing with the settings. The community manager over at the Helldivers 2 official Discord addressed this right here by stating, "As some of you have noticed, there's an issue with the social features in the game potentially crashing the game, primarily when opening the social menu. This can also appear when you hit escape or open other menus. We're currently working on how to best resolve it and we'll update you as soon as we know more." There's also a minor bug affecting crouch and prone when equipped with the ballistic shields. This only seems to occur if the shield is on the user's back when crouching or diving into prone. Equipping the shield on the arm when stuck in crouch or prone should allow the user to move normally again. There's also a workaround for the crashing, so if you are experiencing that, what you need to do is change your settings once you're on a planet. Do not edit your settings when you're on the ship. Alrighty, continuing on, we're going to check out a question about the newest war bond. Right here, this Discord member asks, "At Twinbeard, is there any plans to make the throwing knives be able to do melee attacks?" Twinbeard responded with, "I know that we've discussed both picking them up and or using them as a melee, but I can't confirm either of them will become a reality. I don't want to speculate, so details on this will have to wait until we have something more substantial to say. I'm pretty sure this will be picked up, pun intended, going forward, even if I don't know the outcome yet." This right here was a bit disappointing to know that we couldn't melee with the weapon, but that's okay because I'm sure at some point it might become a reality, as Twinbeard has mentioned. Now, the CEO did give us an update that there will be a hotfix very soon, and here's his exact response. "I don't think we actually support the Steam Deck, but we have a hotfix coming that hopefully will fix it." There we go. We know that there's going to be a hotfix at some point, maybe next week or the week afterwards if it takes them even longer, but we'll find out as time goes on. Next up, the former CEO Pilistad was able to answer a question about the new enemy types, and this user right here asks, "I've seen no new mentions of these new/old threats today. Are they still here waiting to be discovered?" Pilistad responded with, "I was referencing the roaming gunships and the behemoth charger. Smiley face." Okay, I do not believe the behemoth is a new enemy type. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's not. Anyways, there's your answer if you were wondering if there was any new enemies or old enemy types. That right there is the confirmation. We're now going to move on and talk a bit about the patrol spawns, because as you all know, they have resolved this. They reverted the change, but with that, there has been some talks about the spawn system being out of control. A bit wacky, I should say. Twinbeard had responded to several messages about this, basically stating this right here. "Wait a moment, I haven't had time to play yet, but you're saying the game is more difficult now? Spawns and patrols being reverted should make it easier as far as I know. Have to monitor this before being able to clarify, but off the top of my head, it seems a bit strange to be honest." And to be completely fair, I do not believe this is an issue, but if you guys have experienced some sort of spawning problems where there's just a bunch of enemies, then let me know down below in the comments because I would love to know. Okay, we are now going to talk about some brand new leaks. If you guys are not a huge fan of any leaks, then just leave now because that is what we're going to be going over. So with that, we are first going to check out a brand new stratagem called the Commando. This was revealed by a leaker named Ironsights, and kudos to him for giving me permission to post this. What we have here is the new Commando stratagem. This is literally a M202 flash weapon that you can use in-game, but of course it has a different name. It's called the Commando. There's no confirmation date on when we can expect this item, but maybe, potentially, there's a chance that when we rescue those children, maybe they'll have one of these weapons on them, which would be nice. Not too sure why one of them would have an M202 flash, but hey, you never know. This seems like it's going to be one of those weapons I will definitely be using as soon as possible. I wonder if it's going to be quite effective against Automatons, which is what I'm really looking forward to. So what are your thoughts about this? Would you like to see something like this very soon? Are you a big fan of it? Or would you prefer a different stratagem, maybe a flaming turret, or possibly something else? Let me know down below in the comments. Alright, the next leak here is going to be insane because this one is going to be an Automaton Flame Trooper. This right here was revealed by Ironsights, again, the leaker from Helldivers 2 Discord. And this was textured by Asunder Knight, so credit to him as well. I'm gonna be completely honest, I am not a big fan of those Hulks when they use their flamethrowers, so if we're expecting a trooper to have one as well, then I'm just gonna duck for cover and just hide in a corner somewhere because that right there is going to be crazy. And last but not least, we have this leak by Dark728, aka Forerunner, and what we have right here is an amazing leak. This is going to be a new Automaton Barrager tank. This right here, compared to the other tanks, does not look to be too big, except for the top portion, which obviously has a bunch of rockets. And yeah, I feel like that is going to be a rough time. A difficult time indeed, because of how many rockets are there. I'm assuming this dude is going to shoot a crap ton. Not to mention the name is Barrager tank, right? So obviously this is going to involve a bunch of rockets. So really cool to see. Excited for it, but also not because, again, this is just going to be insane. It's going to be hectic. And last but not least, the former CEO, Pilistad, had basically went into detail on why they decided to nerf or buff certain weapons. I'm going to go over one explanation, and then you guys can check out the rest. I will leave a link down below so you guys can definitely check it out. But this right here was pretty interesting. Pilistad talked a bit about the Eruptor, and this is what he had to say. In one of the previous patches, we removed the shrapnel from the explosion as it made Eruptor's ability to spike damage too much for a primary weapon. And for a support weapon, even its theoretical max was over 9,000, and introduced some unexpected interactions. We acknowledge that the Eruptor lost a good portion of its capabilities, and the additional damage boost didn't make up for the loss of shrapnel. Adding back shrapnel is quite tricky because of the low visibility of shrapnel, which sometimes creates situations where you or your fellow Helldivers died with very little feedback of what killed you. To compensate for that, we're giving the Eruptor 150 more damage per explosion to make it more consistent without introducing new edge cases. The intent is that this change will make the Eruptor viable both against medium armored targets and in groups of cannon fodder enemies. And right there, that's the decision. That's why they decided to remove the shrapnel, which I am okay with it now. I know some of you have commented, oh, the shrapnel's not a big deal. And you're right, it's not. Especially if they added the extra damage, that does help out just a bit. I think deep down, I really just want that shrapnel back. This is your Helldivers 2 news, and we're now going to talk about the top 3 comments from the previous video. If you guys would like to be featured in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below. We have the first comment by Cloutwick. This person says, 2 things, let me retrieve the knife and let me melee with it, and give me my shrapnel back. The second comment is by Alpha Wolf 6708. This user says, fun fact, the Bushwhacker Shorty can easily one-shot an Automaton Berserkers with the all barrels mode. And last but not least, the third comment is by Project Taker. This person says, also hilarious revelation, Viper's Commandos is a universe comic book series and the armors are all just cosplay. There's your top 3 comments from the previous video. If you guys would like to be featured in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I will see you guys in the next video.